What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm gonna be showing you guys, explaining to you guys, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, how you guys can find your next favorite bowling ball. I'm sure if you guys have been bowling for long enough, you have probably found one or two or a few different bowling balls that you always gravitate towards. Maybe it's something of a fallback ball. Some of you always know what it's gonna do. You really like the way it rolls. You feel like it strikes a lot. I'm gonna explain to you guys why that is, first of all, and then second of all, I'm gonna explain to you guys how you guys can find your next one that's gonna do that for you. Because I would say probably the majority of you guys are just league bowlers, so you're probably not ball changing too often. Once you find that one ball, you probably throw it for a good amount of time. So once that ball kind of wears out on you, you're gonna want the next one. So here we go. So today I just brought a few examples of, I don't like using favorite ball. If you guys watch the channel, you guys know I don't like to say that, but balls I find very useful for my play style. That's how I'm gonna characterize it, that have come out this year. In 2025, I've got a Equinox Solid, a Rockstar, Typhoon, and a Gremlin up here. And I'm gonna kind of tell you guys why I like them all and the similarities that they all have as it pertains to my play style. That's the big thing. Jay Raggedy, his favorite balls are not going to be what my favorite balls are because it's all going to be very personal. Everybody has a different skill set, higher rev rate, lower rev rate, higher ball speed, lower ball speed. So that's why they come out with so many different balls in the product line, is to accommodate all the different kinds of balls that are out there. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about these balls real quick. I'm actually going to throw a couple for you as well, just so you guys can visually see how I like to see my balls motion. A lot of it has to do with, for me, how the ball's shape on the back end. I know it's all predicated on what happens in the front, but you can manipulate what happens in the front with surface and whatnot. And as you can see with my Equinox Solid, I've actually brought the surface up on it a little bit. This is just a wet spin 3000 pad. So it maintains the shape that I like out of this ball, but now that break point is getting a lot further down the lane. Been a little bit more useful for how I've been using it, mainly in league, because I'm a league bowler now. Kind of the similarities I'm seeing out of all three of these balls is that they are a little bit more on the rounder side on the back end, and it's all kind of dependent on how I want to use these balls and where they are in the product line. They make all these balls because I'll put out there that I think there's like one best ball motion as it goes through the pins. We'll call that ball motion X. And all these balls are created to give you ball motion X in different parts of the block, especially if you're a tournament bowler. So that's why there's so many balls out there. There are balls to fill all those gaps, and then in each of those gaps, they do slightly different things to favor certain different bowlers. Again, he's not gonna have the same four quote-unquote favorite balls that I'm gonna have. He might have some, there might be some overlaps. There are some balls that just work for a lot of people, i.e. like phase 2, high road, IQ, that's why the balls are in the product line for so long. And then there's gonna be some other specialized ones that just suit my eye. So I'm actually just gonna throw some here for you because I don't know what else to do. This is a bowling channel, so I'm gonna bowl. And then I'll just talk about them, and then we'll get to how you're gonna find that next favorite ball. So there is kind of a, like I was saying, there's a certain kind of shape that I like to see. And it's funny because I think like Equinox for the big solid ASIMs is a little bit shapier than a lot of the solid ASIMs. And then as far as like the Typhoon, I would say it's like one of the smoother lower end balls. So how I like to characterize balls that I like a lot, they're very balanced. So my strong balls aren't super early chuggy strong. My clean balls aren't super deep and quick. And for me, because I know I have a little bit of versatility with my game, that's what I want my balls to, accentuate. I want to be able to use those tools and have balls that I can make do a lot of different things. So I'm just gonna throw the Equinox Solid with shine on it, because why not? So the reason why I like this as my big ball option currently is, typically if I'm bowling on fresh, on a pattern especially, urethane's probably gonna be the play. So having a big ball that I can shape a little bit, because I do have the capability to make urethane balls last pretty long and I can shape them. Having that next progression that gives me a little bit of extended time after the urethane ball is very important to me. This ball, the Equinox Solid, really reminds me of the Eternity Pie. I don't know if it says the white or what, but the way it shapes is very similar. And what I was able to do with the Eternity Pie is I was able to shape it. So it's kind of like, I like to see like balls do the opposite of what they're made to do. if that makes sense. Like, I like to see a big ball that I can hook. I like to see a cleaner ball that I can keep in front of me and stay a little bit straighter with. Just the way I like to see it. I like to see a slower, rounder motion on the back. But then my consummate, what everyone would call like the benchmark ball, solid, dull, low RG, high diff ball. Rockstar is my choice. Instead of phase 2, why, you might ask? Again, it's a small characteristic thing. Those balls are in the same gap for the same purpose, but this one just shapes a little bit different. This one, a little bit rounder on the back end, and for somebody that has a little bit more of aggressive hand at the bottom, that's gonna be very handy. You know, it's kind of a bad pun there, but whatever. But someone who's a little bit less aggressive at the bottom, phase 2 might be your option because it does get off it a little bit faster. But I'll just show you, Rockstar. You guys have seen this ball like a gajillion times if you watch this channel a lot. It's pretty awful. There we go. Just very round. I can see what it's doing, and more importantly, almost, I can see when it's not doing the right thing. It's very obvious. It's just really smooth and really slow. Also, paired with the pin down layout, it's gonna be, one, it's gonna help it push down the lane a little bit further by itself, and two, it's gonna be a little bit rounder on the back end. So it kind of complements what I like to do with the ball in that category. But then after that, we're gonna go Gremlin, I guess. Lots of balls in this gap here, all right? So we've got original Equinox, we've got Hyperdrive Pearl, Attention Star just left. I'm sure a lot of you guys have that. What other clean ASIMs do we have, Jay Raggedy? Huh? Identity BCP, his favorite. Lots of clean ASIM options. Why I choose this one as my preferred one, I think it's the cleanest and the roundest. I'm mainly attracted to that roundness on the back end because, especially for a place like here, higher friction, I don't need to see my ball stand up and go forward. I can do that on my own. I can get very forward with my hand, so I don't need help with that. Where you'll find a lot of that forwardness is balls with either a lot of cover or a lot of weight block or a lot of both. This ball has a very weak cover. I won't say very weak, but it's a weaker cover, and it's got lower end ASIM. Although it has 58 diff, it complements the cover very well. But this is a ball I feel like I can do a lot of things with. If I want to hook a little extra on the back end, I can do that. If I want to roll it up the back, I can do that. I actually haven't done this ball in a long time, but another ball you guys have seen a good amount. It's the same one, my first one. So a very mild shape, and that is something I can work with. For me as a bowler, I have to know my preferences, my tendencies, and my preference is seeing my ball actually labor a little bit down lane because I know I can get a little bit more aggressive at the bottom. Some people like to know that their ball is going to hook freely down lane because they got a little more touch than I do. So it's really finding those characteristics about yourself and then matching those with what the ball is going to want to do. So obviously this ball and Hyperdrive Pearl. Hyperdrive Pearl is obviously an HP4, this is an HP3, but they're both Pearl ASIMs. The Hyperdrive Pearl, much stronger in the middle part of the lane, feels like it wants to get going forward more because of the weight block, and that's just not something I really look for in a ball like that. I'm not saying it never has a purpose. Like out on the tour, obviously we have access to the truck and all the balls and stuff, so we'll drill specifically for that week, for that situation. But as a general few balls that I would bring out during practice session, these are the kind of balls I would bring out because I know what they're gonna do, I know I like them, and then I can figure out what I need to complement those or if I just need something completely new. But these are a great baseline. But the last one, the Typhoon. You guys know that I've liked the Typhoon since it first came out. This is my down one, so this one's gonna be even smoother than the up one, but it's gonna be another clean, round option. It's gonna almost look like the baby version of that Gremlin, how it just rolled. See, for a cleaner ball, I like to see that shape where it's rounder and a little more, I guess I'll call it continuous. Continuation is kind of predicated on what the rest of the lane's doing, but for the most part, this ball has a very round transition point, whereas something like, I would say High Road 40 is a little bit faster on the back end. Not particularly the ball that matches my play style. My misses tend to be a little bit snatchy. So a ball like this matches how I like to throw the ball. I like to crush it at the bottom. Now, what you guys have all been waiting for, hopefully you guys made it this far, how to find your next favorite ball, right? That's what you guys all came here for. Hopefully you guys made it through all that babbling. But we have all these balls, right? First you got to identify kind of, if you're just a regular league bowler, it's definitely identifying where you're bowling and what you're bowling on. And a knowledgeable pro shop operator should be able to get you in the same kind of ball if that's what you're looking for. But you have to find some common DNA between your current favorite ball and what's out there in the product line. Again, that's where a knowledgeable pro shop operator comes into play. Whether it's the cover, weight block, hopefully your pro shop operator is asking you a lot of questions, because it could be something as simple as finding a ball with the same cover, so it's interacting with the lane the same way that you like to see, or if it's seeing a certain shape in the middle part of the lane and the back end, that could be more of a weight block thing. So again, hopefully they're asking you a lot of questions, what you like to see. Hopefully they watch you throw a few. And then from there, it's finding some common DNA with your current ball and matching that with a newer ball. And again, you can match surfaces, things like that. You can change them all to get the shape that you like. Well, that's a short answer. I could have told you that in about a 1-minute video, but some of you guys like seeing how I like to relate to these topics. Some of you guys don't. So either thank you or I apologize. But there you guys have it. That's kind of explaining why your favorite balls might be your favorite balls and how to find your new favorite ball. To recap it all, your favorite ball is probably your favorite ball because it matches how you like to bowl. And that's why there are 150 odd bowling balls on the product market, because there's a bunch of different play styles out there. Not all the balls are going to be for you. I'm going to be honest. They're not all made for you, but they're all made for everybody. Some balls match up with more people than others, but there's some oddballs out there who like the balls that maybe not a lot of people like. You might be one of them. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope I covered all the bases I wanted to in this video. If not, I'm sorry, but I tried. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys want a similar, not similar video to this, but something else as it relates to you as the consumer that I can help you out with so you can get the equipment that you need. All right? If you guys like the shirt, available on efx.to, link is in the description below. Use code MITA for 10% off at checkout. Helps you, helps me. Again, all the love in the world, guys. Hope you guys are having a successful league season. First quarter recap should be coming out soon as well, so we'll work on that. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.